the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's a country called Tonga. It's the only kingdom of Oceania, and 100,000 people call it their home. It's also one of the few places in the world where you can experience something incredibly unique. Being in the ocean together with 50-ton humpback whales and seeing them in their natural habitat. The problem, however, is that it's a logistical nightmare to organize. The tourism in Tonga is relatively undeveloped, being in the top 20 least visited countries in the world. There is just a very small number of places to stay, and because of that, some places are booked a year in advance. Accommodation, and especially the domestic flights, are difficult to book. Everything has to be arranged only through email, and most of the time, nobody ever responds. But if you manage to go through all the hassle, you will be rewarded with something that only a few people in the world get to experience. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kingdom of Tonga. But first, let's go back to the beginning of this journey. Welcome from New Zealand Auckland Airport. Before even this trip starts, I already had to fly for 24 hours to the other side of the world from Europe, and now we are setting off on a 3-week-long trip to Oceania to explore different Pacific islands and Pacific nations in this region, and the first place we're visiting is the Kingdom of Tonga. So we are now about to hop on a 3-hour-long flight from here Auckland to the Tonga's capital of Nuku'alofa. So without further ado, let's begin this incredible adventure. And we've just landed to Tonga's capital, Nuku'alofa. And the first adventure begins now, because we have to find a hotel near the airport, which maybe doesn't even exist. I hadn't seen a single photo from the room. The only reference was some 15-year-old reviews on TripAdvisor, which left me questioning whether it was actually a good idea.
Okay, yes, yeah, I know.
We just have one number. It was fortunately working. Some policemen tried to help us. In the end, we managed to find it. The policeman dropped us off. The room doesn't really seem to be that bad. Some stains, dirty walls, but you can live with that. No Wi-Fi, of course. Tomorrow morning, we're flying off to a group of islands called Hapai. So good night and see you in the morning. Because there are 170 islands here in Tonga, you would think that booking a domestic flight wouldn't be that hard. Well, as you might have already realized by now, that was not the case here in Tonga. The only airline that operates flights in Tonga is called Lulutai. You have to actually send an email to someone with your requested dates, wait to see if they will ever reply, and if they do, then send the money and hope that you get your flight tickets. Stand on the scale. Okay. Well, here in Tonga, you have to weigh yourself before boarding the aircraft. I've never seen that before. arrived after an absolutely stunning scenic flight. And this is Humpback Airport. So this place is where we'll spend the following 5 days, and I'm curious what we'll experience. Throughout the year, there's only a short time window between July and September when it's possible to dive with the whales. Humpbacks come here to Tonga every year after a 6,000-kilometer journey from Antarctica to give birth and raise the young whales before migrating back to Antarctica to feed. We will spend 5 days here in total, not just to dive with whales, but also to experience the island life, meet locals, and just enjoy the atmosphere of this remote place. The first day, we explored the island from north to south. There are numerous beaches and small villages, and when there's no plane landing, the airport runway is used as the main road. Believe it or not, but right now I'm walking on the airport runway here in Hawaii, because there's just one road going from one side of the island to the other, and when the flight is not coming, it's open, and when there's some flight, they just close the gate and the airplane lands. Well, I haven't seen any place like this in the world so far, so this is the first time for me to just be freely walking on the tarmac. After a bit of exploring, we got back to our accommodation, enjoyed a gorgeous Pacific sunset, and got ready for tomorrow's first dive. Good morning, it's 7:30 a.m. and we're about to head on our first dive with humpback whales. It's a bit cloudy today, so hopefully we will catch some glimpse of the whales, and praying that we will be able to swim with them. It will be about 6 or 7 hours on the boat, and I'm incredibly excited, so let's go. It didn't take long before we saw the first whale, and then these crazy moments started when all the whales began to jump out of the water. It was absolutely incredible. We met more than 10 groups of whales, but even with some close encounters, they were too quick and didn't have the mood for us today. So in the end, we didn't jump in the water even once. The first dive was more of a whale watching experience, and even though stunning, I was slightly disappointed that we didn't get inside with them this time. But this is real nature, where nothing is certain, and I could only hope that tomorrow we would be luckier. And so, after getting back and a quick rest, we jumped on bikes to explore other parts of the island. Well, and now let's go and explore this island on bike. Also, we'll go shopping to a local grocery store. The bikes which are here are really kind of relics. They don't have any brakes, no gears. You just brake by pressing backwards. Well, let's hope that the bike will survive. So let's head to the town. Well, I've already almost crashed because it has no brakes, it's very hard to brake. And we're in town already. Welcome to Pangai.
Hi.
Hi!
Oh.
The first thing you see in the town are all of these cemeteries, traditional ones full of flowers. I have no idea why here is some European cemetery, but it's just here. It's really this kind of village island life, completely different life tempo. Everything is more chilled, nobody is running everywhere, everybody's just relaxed, and it's nice to turn on this mode as well once in a while. We are almost at the south tip of this island where the road ends. There is just about 500 meters, 1 kilometer to go before we reach Pangai Southern Beach. So, let's go. we've arrived to the southern tip of this island. There's a kind of nice beach, but the amount of garbage everywhere is just insane. Even though there is one bin right there, seems like nobody's using it and everybody just throws everything all around. And everywhere around there are just coconuts laying on the ground. I cannot imagine that you just walk underneath the palm and suddenly this falls on your head. There's actually quite a lot of people killed every year by a coconut, so hopefully this doesn't happen to us. So we just bought something from the local supermarket. Every single business here is owned by Chinese people. For example, this man is staying here, we asked, already for 11 years. He's originally from China, goes there once in a while, but this is his primarily place. And as we were told by some local people here, if the Chinese wouldn't be here, then local people wouldn't want to work here, so there will be probably no shop open. We got back to our accommodation just in time for another stunning sunset. I think the Pacific really has some of the most beautiful sunsets anywhere in the world. And then it was time for a well-deserved rest before another whale expedition tomorrow. Good morning, so it's another day, another diving with whales. Hopefully we'll be more lucky than yesterday, because yesterday, even though we saw so many whales everywhere jumping around from the water, even super close to the boat, they didn't want to let us in the water and swim with them. So let's hope that we'll be more lucky and get even to water this time. Today, it was windy and the ocean was quite rough, with a lot of waves, but it didn't take long before we had our first encounter with a group of whales. This time, however, they were much slower, and with a seemingly good chance, we jumped in the water, had to swim very fast, and then I experienced my first ever whale encounter. We got back on the boat, but very quickly we were jumping in the water again, this time seeing two whales right above each other. Back to the boat, and after a while another group. This was the craziest encounter so far, as there were 3 or 4 full-sized humpbacks just swimming around. The camera doesn't do justice to the experience, because it's just undescribable when 3 15-meter whales swim right next to you. And so, being much luckier than yesterday, we slowly headed back to our island, where it was time for more exploration. We actually found one Chinese shop where they offered a rental car, so we asked, and without any agreement, no signature, we just gave the money, got the key, and off we went. We crossed the airport runway and headed north through some of the local villages, when suddenly one small boy stopped me.
Hi,
So what's your name?
boys.
Hey, nice to meet you. So we just stopped here at one of these villages on the island, and this small boy just came to us, and now he's going to show us his home and his siblings. Hello. Oh. Okay.
Hi.
Church. Yes. It was nice to meet you. Bye-bye. After visiting the village, we continued to explore. After a while, we reached some beach, which was quite nice, although like everywhere, there was a lot of garbage. As it started to get dark, we slowly returned back to our accommodation, just in time for the sunset, which once again didn't disappoint. Good morning! So far, it's the most beautiful day out of these three here. And yesterday we got the chance to swim with the whales already. It was absolutely incredible. Like the animals, you have no idea how huge they are until you get to the water and you're really next to them. But still, they were kind of swimming very quickly. They didn't let us all the way to get to them. But now we're heading for the third attempt. Yeah, I'm incredibly excited. So, last day on the water. Let's go. Well, I have no words for the last dive. Everything was just perfect. The weather, incredible visibility, and after just 30 minutes, we jumped in the water, and what followed was something insane. Today, the whales really didn't mind being in our proximity. We saw numerous whales with their young ones, and it was just mesmerizing. After 5 or 10 dives, our time on the water slowly came to an end, and we made our way back to the island. I spent the afternoon working, and we enjoyed another sunset before our last day on Hawaii tomorrow. Today, it's Sunday, and here in Tonga, that means that nothing's open, no shops, no restaurants, no businesses, nothing. It's actually forbidden. Even the King of Tonga wrote that into the constitution. It's the day for rest and relax, and all the people from Tonga just spend this time with their families, and in the morning they all go to church because Tonga is strongly a religious Christian country. And there are many churches in every single village on the island, and we are going to take a look inside to see what a typical Sunday service looks like. Going to church in remote places like this is always a unique experience, and the singing by these ordinary people was incredible. It really felt like being in a concert hall. And if you're driving through Tonga on Sunday, it's literally empty. There's no one. It's completely deserted. It's because everybody is in their church. So if you want to buy anything, that's impossible today. We drove through some villages for the final time, and then there was such a beautiful sunset, almost as if Hawaii was saying goodbye. We woke up to this beautiful view of a rainbow and headed to the airport. Got a handwritten boarding pass, and from the outside door, it took me 30 seconds to board our Lulutai plane. And just like that, after 5 days, I said goodbye to this island, where I felt like time had really slowed down. We had some incredible views before landing on the main island of Tonga Tapu, in the capital Nuku'alofa. And we have arrived to Tonga's capital, Nuku'alofa. And I have to tell you that after 5 days of being on Hapai Islands, where it was so chilled, so relaxed, no cars, very little traffic, very calm, and here it's so busy. There are many cars, even some traffic jams, all the businesses shop, many Chinese of course. Well, it's quite a contrast compared to the last 5 days, but now we will quickly walk around the city to see if there's anything interesting. This behind me, for example, is the Tongan Parliament. Close to here, there's a King's Palace, and then we'll head off from the capital and explore other areas of the Tonga Tapu Island to see what kind of nature places are there. Here in Tonga, you can find one very unique thing, and that's the rock right behind me. It was discovered in 2008 and it's believed to be the world's largest rock thrown away from the sea by tsunami. It's believed to be the part of some coral reef, and it's about 100 meters away from the shore, and the scientists calculated that it had to be at least 35 meters high tsunami to be able to throw something like this. Probably it happened already thousands of years ago, but yeah, you don't find something like this every day. In the end, we managed to drive around the entire island, and the last stop was this nice view of the ocean, where we watched our last sunset in Tonga. And just like that, our adventure in Tonga was over. I still can't fully comprehend that I really got to swim with the magnificent humpback whales, and it's definitely been one of the top and most unique experiences of my life. I managed to slow down and live the relaxed remote island life for a few days. I explored Hapai Islands, met the locals, went to a church, and witnessed incredible sunsets every single night. The South Pacific is truly an incredible place. If you like this adventure, it would mean a lot if you could like and subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for the next video, because our journey in Oceania continues, and the next destination will be one of the top 10 least visited countries in the world, where we experienced some crazy stories. That's it from the Kingdom of Tonga, and I'll see you soon.